Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen.
Yes.
And in the next 15 minutes, we are setting ourselves the challenge to look at this question, bringing HR to the leadership table. But what are we going to try to accomplish specifically is to answer 4 questions. So at the end of these sessions, we will hope that all of you can reflect, not in general, but in your own country. Why is HR needed in the leadership table of your own country, whether it's big or small? Why does effort need to be made to ensure that HR is at that table? And if effort needs to be made in your context, how can you overcome that? Number 3, we'll try to look at how can that be done, what tips are there so that you can get to that space where you feel that your leadership role is heard. And finally, number 4, we will look at what is the value not only for the organization, but also for each people, the people that works around you, in terms of you being at that table. But I've used the word table a number of times, and when Jane and Cindy asked about this topic, I thought, I think we need to step back. What is that table that we are talking about, that leadership table, that red seat that you see on the screen? And I thought that it was just kind of to, as I said, step back and think, is this a physical table? Is this kind of one of these monthly meetings where maybe the board or the senior leaders kind of come together? Is this kind of a space where we get kind of the senior title? In essence, it's none of those actually. It is more so a place of influence. It can include some of the things I've mentioned. It can include that you are part of certain key meetings. It can include that you have a senior title, but it doesn't have to. It's just a place of influence. So with that image in your mind, every time you see the red seat on that table, just think or ask about yourself, do I have a place of influence in my country? Do I have a place of influence with the other senior leaders in my country? Do I have a place of influence actually with the people, whatever their position? Do I have a place where my voice is heard and my voice is respected? So having said this, we've defined what's that space. What I'd like to do is quickly look at why HR is needed in that table, which now we know what it is. First of all, and as Brent mentioned on the illustration of the boat, boats don't run without people. They are not alive. It's people what is important. And that's really what your title is about, human resources, human. And some of us have recently changed our title to people so that it's even clearer. And people are actually our biggest asset. They are the ones that actually help us achieve a strategy. Again, on the previous presentation, we saw that the boat moves towards a direction, and it is people that allows that movement. It's people that plans that movement, and it's people that makes that journey fun. But it's a strategy, and there is an ultimate goal, which, as we all well know, is leprosy defeated and lives transformed. And that strategy, that ultimate goal, and it's really interesting that Brent has described how that's so key. It's so much linked to something that I encourage all of you to start thinking about, which is HR strategy. So we all are hopefully quite familiar with our country strategy. And I hope that if I put you on the spot right now and I ask you, what are the pillars of your strategy in your country? You can all answer somehow that question. But what is your HR strategy? What is that set of priorities and plans that you've got this year particularly that underline under the country strategy? This is something I want to encourage all of you to think about, because that's what will allow you to be more influential and to be sitting on that red seat, to really be part of that movement on the boat illustration. Because if we are to answer with one word, why is HR needed at the leadership table, it is about a strategy. A strategy is the key to success, and HR strategy, which is what all of you, all of us should be running and focusing our time on, it is the key to success, because it's what brings people to where they have to be. It's what makes their journey enjoyable, and what allows them to deliver what is expected of their roles, and ultimately is what allows us to defeat leprosy and transform lives. But why is effort required? Why is it not straightforward? Why don't we get a red carpet and a lovely leather red seat that kind of recognizes that we are influential and that people hear our thoughts and opinions because they are important? There are many, many reasons why it's not straightforward. I've grouped them here into three: external, internal, and those arising from the nature of the leadership role itself. External. Sometimes they come from people and situations. Sometimes they come from the culture of your country, from the structure of your country. HR has never really been up there in that place where it seems that it makes decisions or is consulted before big decisions are made. Sometimes it's opposition. Sometimes there's maybe people at senior level that doesn't feel it's important to hear your voice. A quick tip in here is be creative. Look for a common ground. There is always one, and look for opportunities to collaborate. Another set of reasons are within yourself. They are internal. They are stemming from within you, the leader that you are meant to be. But there is something within yourself that tells you that you are not secure. There is something within you at times that is defensive. There is something within you that lacks of decisiveness, which is key at times. If any of that sounds familiar, the tips are the following. Listen. Listen to the voices in your head that are telling you that you are not good enough, and shut them up. But listen also to people around you. We are saying here 360 feedback. Listen to people that might give you advice to be better, advice to build up yourself, advice to actually come out of that place of insecurity. Reach out for help. Have a honest and maybe confidential conversation. You have Jane and Steve, we are always available for that, but you can also pick someone in your organization whom you trust and just share how you feel and how can you come out of that place. Finally, the reason why sometimes it's not straightforward, it comes from the expectations of the leadership HR role itself. It is very demanding. And some of us know that very well. Probably all of us are bombarded with kind of probably things to do, mails coming through, requests from people around us, and we have to avoid burnout. We also have to avoid burn down, that other place where we have done it for so long that we have a bit lost motivation. We can maybe manage, but we are not as enthusiastic as we used to be with the mission of the organization. Or maybe we've seen so many politics around that we don't feel it anymore, and we just stop fighting for the real values. And at times, just simply keeping every day under control while you continue to pursue the vision, it just feels too much. If any of that sounds like you, revisit your vision, revisit why you want to work for this organization, revisit why HR is the path that you've chosen in your career, revisit why you want to be in your role today, and share the burden, have personal time, think resilience, as Peter Walker taught us on day one of these global workshops. And in essence, if you are still with a question mark in your head, it's too difficult, just find the answer. As I mentioned in some of those points, there are small tips, but share the load, and you'll be able little by little to move towards the other side. Number 3, how to get to the table, how to get to that space where you feel you are comfortable seated in a place of influence on every direction. This might sound like quick tips, and easy tips, but they are deeper than what they look. First of all, ask those around you. Ask your country leader, how can you help him? Ask the senior leaders, maybe set an appointment in the calendar. I'd like to know, how can I help your team in the next quarter to accomplish their objectives? I'd like to know, how can we have a conversation about COVID-19 and how to help staff in your team particularly to overcome the pressures better. The next advice is offer of your time, offer of your ideas, offer of specifics that you think might help the organization. So this, to ask and offer, require you to make that first step. So you don't have to wait to be invited to this big meeting or to be asked this big strategic question. It's just coming from you. The third and fourth advice, appreciate and acknowledge. They might seem a bit similar, but I'll try to unpack them for you. Appreciate. We all like when someone says thank you to us, when someone says thank you about something that we've done. But what I'm asking you here is to say thank you to those around you, and to really also ask them if you can maybe be part of what they are doing next time. For example, I could say to Brent, I really appreciated the presentation that you did today, but maybe next time I'd love to be part of a day like that. Or I could say to another senior leader in the organization, I really appreciated the way you manage your team through COVID-19, and I'd like to be part of that. So you're nearly kind of appreciating, but offering you help for the future. And I can promise you, next time they are thinking about a new initiative, they will remember you. Acknowledge. Acknowledge is not always positive. Sometimes it means that you are acknowledging that there is a situation going on, and you are making it obvious. You are bringing it to the surface on time so that leaders can actually make wise decisions. And at times you are the messenger of people. At times you are the one that says to other leaders, I've realized that people are tense, that people are discouraged, that people are actually overworking. So acknowledge those things and make them available to others so that they can make right decisions at the right time. Suggest. Suggest is about the specific. All of you, I'm sure, 100%, at many stages, you have specific ideas of things that can improve your organization. Suggest them. Don't keep them for yourself. Don't think that your idea is not big enough. Just have those conversations with those around you, up, down, around, and suggest, I've thought about this, could that help? Maybe in one occasion it does, in another one it doesn't, but suggest, and at times those suggestions might really make that boat run faster. And speak the language. We're not talking about Hindi or Bangladeshi or Portuguese. We are talking about the language that leaders like to hear. How does a reduction in absence improves productivity? How improving the health and safety conditions of the organization will also improve well-being, and therefore people being more focused on their roles. Try to get metrics that will involve the leaders. In essence, the most successful HR leaders, and that is you, are able to link people, programs, functions, that's your goals, to organizational results, and engage other leaders to achieve those goals. So learn how people directly tie to goals and outcomes, and you will be one piece on a moving chain, and a key piece, a central piece that again makes that boat run faster. And finally, what is the value really if we are at that table for the organization and also for its people? What is it in essence, I will summarize it as you can contribute, advocate, promote, and achieve people's development, people's growth, organizational development, but ultimately your position is important to get to the mission and vision and goal that we all dream about, which is leprosy defeated and lives transformed. And not only in your country, not only at that level where you are one piece in a chain, but at a way bigger level, at a global fellowship level, at a level where we can say one day, in a few years' time, 2030, we can look back and say, I was part of eliminating leprosy. I was part of transforming lives through my role. And your roles are really key for that. As we mentioned earlier, you are the ones that go along with people and link management with the people to make that happen. So I wish you all the best to just continue to get to that red seat. And if you are already there, continue putting just your energy to contribute more and make it run faster. If you feel you are not there yet, just make some of the steps to get there slowly, and use Cindy and Jane to have further conversations if you think you need help. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Damaris. That was really excellent. I really valued what you shared. Well, so much of what you shared, I think we'll all have to go away and look at it again, but you shared a lot about the place of influence that we all have, and some tips such as things like offering to help rather than being, waiting to be asked for your advice. Sometimes we can offer, and also really good advice about, just how HR can be this really important link between the people, the wider staff body and leadership, and the importance of sharing messages between staff and leadership. So thank you so much. And also loved what you said about, sometimes we hold ourselves back, and sometimes it's our levels of confidence or our, this kind of, we hold ourselves back by thinking, oh, we're not good enough, or we can't do this. But I think that was a really important message to share as well. So we'd love to just give people a couple of minutes to ask Damaris any questions about her presentation or to make any comments on what she shared. So please just, for the next couple of minutes, feel free to ask Damaris anything that you'd like to. Okay. Any questions or comments?
Thank you, Damaris, for your nice tips to get in the table of leadership, to influence by HR role. Yes, great learning from you.
Thanks, Suma.
Okay, and we've got a few other people saying thank you in the chat. I think it's much appreciated, your session. And I think Doris in Congo, you have a question for Damaris. Please feel free to ask.
Yes, thank you, dear Damaris, for her presentation. So what I learned now is that we should be proactive. You should not wait somebody to lay you share the leadership table. I think it's our own efforts, if I can. So thank you, because you just tell me that we should be proactive. I think it's what I could understand. Yeah. Thank you, Damaris.
Matondo Mingi, Doris.
Hello. Hello, may I say something? Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Damaris. Very interesting and very enthusiastic as usual. Thank you so much. We missed this physically. We missed this. Yeah. Just to add something on what Damaris has said, whatever strategy, as you know, we all are human. We're working for human. HR is mostly about human for human. So whatever beautiful strategy and policies and practice we have, it's all about having good dependent and good leadership on HR and with good practice. And I just want to highlight on what Damaris has said. Thank you.
Thank you, Belle, and that means a lot coming from a country leader. Appreciate that.
Great. Dorothy in Papua New Guinea has also made a comment to say HR is not easy, it's very challenging. To be a good people person needs hard work, to be neutral and transparent in all situations. So she's expressing thanks for valuable and empowering learnings. So that's fantastic too.